www.campusinternational.org, where they show in film and in published reports the value of ingesting raw cannabis. And it's nothing short of miraculous, because you can ingest 60 times more of the cannabinoids and the terpenes and the flavonoids, the chlorophyll, that you would be able to ingest just by smoking the plant. If you eat it raw, there's no psychoactivity. The THC is locked up as THC acid, THCA, which is not psychoactive. And the plant doesn't become psychoactive to heat material. And then the THCA and all of the other cannabinoids are decarboxylated by heat. The THC becomes psychoactive, but the increase in the dosage of the therapeutic components of the plant, if eaten raw, is 60 times more than you can tolerate if you smoke the plant. And you get a lot more of the terpenes and the chlorophyll and things like that by eating it, whereas by smoking you just really pretty much just get the cannabinoids and some terpenes, and that's good for you. But you know, if you're ill or if you don't want to get sick, then ingesting the plant raw as a vegetable is preferably blended with the seeds, because many of the components require fat to be absorbed. So it's important to have a fat component when you're eating the raw plant. The seeds have wonderful fat, unsaturated fat profile. So if you have seeded buds, even better. And you know, the distinction between a drug crop, in the United States at least, if there's even a seed in the drug in the bag, then it's an sale. You know, people are very snobby about they're paying $400 an ounce and upwards of that for the material. So you can distinguish between a drug crop in the United States and a vegetable crop because of seeds. In the hemp and the marijuana balance each other out. In the United States, that's not being allowed to happen. It might seem odd that, you know, a country that was founded by hemp farmers now doesn't allow people to grow what they need, and yet they still demand taxes from people, and they still expect us to support the unconscionable, immoral behavior that we carry out around the world, imposing misery on other countries and inducing scarcity and creating an endless growth economy that is unsustainable. And people support that. We all support it. We buy petrochemicals right and left. And, you know, we buy food that is trucked in from, you know, some place where, you know, we've never been. I mean, it's absurd that, you know, we don't recognize that efficiency is the structure of the systems that determine our existence on this planet. And so to reclaim our spiritual responsibility to future generations and to recognize the true value of cannabis as both unique and essential are of the utmost highest priority. We have nothing to fear but the atmosphere itself. And time is the limiting factor in the equation of survival. So we have a choice to make, and I trust that we'll make the right choice. And I trust that my friend Roger is going to credibility in claiming that he's a danger to society when he's actually been reclaiming everyone's religious freedom, whether you're American or Slovenian or Czechoslovakian or French or German or whatever. I mean, we all enjoy at least the illusion that we have the freedom of religion. It's sort of, we take it for granted in a way. As I said, I'm not particularly religious, but I do have a moral responsibility that really is just founded in the Golden Rule, like so many other religions, and all of which have given every herb-bearing seed in one phraseology or another to humankind. So, referencing the King James Bible is just a convenient, legally relevant thing for me to do, because in the United States courts, the only book that the judge brings with her to court is the Bible, for swearing the oath of truth, which I did the other day in Oakland at a hearing where the medical board was trying to take away Dr. Daniel Susat's medical license because he was issuing cannabis in ways that they felt were in violation of their standard operating procedures and practices, responsible practices. And really what it boils down to is that the best medicine is the one that keeps you from getting sick in the first place. And that's what cannabis does. It keeps us from getting sick in the first place. And it also detoxifies, irradiates soil, it regenerates minerally depleted soils, it reduces erosion from soil and wind, from water and wind dramatically, and it detoxifies chemically contaminated soils. It also responds favorably to increasing UVB radiation, which is significant because we need to grow something that isn't going to be killed by the UVB. And most agricultural crops are. They reduce crop harvest is one of the harms of increasing UVB, along with the immune suppression, genetic mutation. And one thing that's of great concern is the possibility that the increasing UVB radiation is going to genetically modify heirloom seeds and tweak the genetics of things that we depend on. Because when you go out to your garden to plant a seed, and it's an heirloom seed, you can depend on it to reproduce true. But if it's being that's known to cause genetic mutation, then we don't know what level of UVB is going to precipitate genetic shift in the heirloom cultivars. This is a tremendously important thing for people to understand and to recognize that time is the limiting factor in the equation for survival, and we don't know how much time we have left to make a difference. Every planting season that passes without the benefits of cannabis is gone forever. It's not an opportunity that can be reclaimed. And our children are the ones that are going to suffer for our indecisiveness and our inability to act in a meaningful, coordinated fashion. The things that are being proposed for blocking the UVB right now include shooting sulfur up into the atmosphere, bombing the atmosphere essentially with sulfur, or dumping iron filings into the oceans. It's just it's madness. Tinkering with something that we admit that we don't understand, and things like GMOs are just a wild card, a loose cannon on the deck that we can't begin to take responsibility for. Because anything that we do to this planet that lasts longer than we do, will be inherited by our children and our grandchildren, if grandchildren are in our future. Because there's nothing that says that our species is going to be around in the next 20 years. I mean, you hear different, prognostications about how much time we have left to save the planet, but we don't really know, because there are three things that affect whether or not we can achieve sustainability. Those three things are the environment, human economics, and the social order. And all of those things are in radical decline right now. So we have to recognize that we're sitting on a three-legged stool, and all three legs are bad. And if one leg goes bad, it's going to take the other two with it. So if we recognize that the polar shift in values gives us an option to the existing chemical-based and toxic, unevenly distributed economy, then we can recognize that we can resolve climate change and economic disparity at the same time. It's just what we value. That's what determines what is bought and sold. And if we recognize the negative value, the toxic value of things like petroleum and coal and nuclear, then we can start looking around for, well, what's the best alternative then? If we don't get those things, then what do we get? Well, the best alternative is cannabis. And it's ironic, and it, you know, opened me up to a lot of hot jokes. I've heard them all, but the fact is that it's no joke, and time is running out. And if I understand that the president of Slovenia is involved now with World Congress regulations, it's great interest, and I would just like to say to the president of Slovenia, he could have the great influence on the rest of the world by introducing this information at a global level, because that would put Slovenia on the map. If you start to actively develop a cultural center, perhaps, a cultural relationship, species to species, with cannabis, recognizing it as our interface with the natural order, then that would be a leadership role that was as valuable as the information and the strategy and the healing that you talked about, expanding the arable banks to increase the carrying capacity of the planet. Nobody else is talking about global broiling and how to stop it. You know, it's one thing to introduce a problem, but to introduce a problem and the solution at the same time is a lot easier. If I didn't know what I know about cannabis, I'd be really worried about the planet. And I'm happy to share that with you today. I thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer questions. And please Google my websites. I've got the California Cannabis Ministry, Project Peace, Between the Dreams Productions. I've done everything but, you know, light myself on fire and run around naked, trying to get people to, to understand how important it is for us to move on this. And I trust that, you know, today's presentation will find an ear at a level of responsibility and activity that will benefit all of our children. And I just want to say I feel a lot of love for all of you in your quest for knowledge, and thank you for taking up the responsibility, the shared responsibility now that the information carries with it.
Thank you very much, Paul.